This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest this morning is Sam Osheroff, who is the brand new artistic director for Riverside Theatre in Iowa City. So, first off, Sam, welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. It's great to be here.
You've been here, but you were here last year, and we knew you were coming. But this is your first appearance after having been fully anointed. And after having moved up.
Yeah, it has been a long, slow process. I think I got the job almost over a year ago, and then only started it in July. So it's been a process.
And it's been a little bit of a tumultuous transition for you. So before we talk about Shipwrecked, tell me a little bit the story of getting you guys from Florida to Iowa City.
Well, we had a baby on a Monday, and we moved on a Friday, so that's hard right there. I've got a 4.5-year-old, so we moved 2 dogs, 2 kids, one of whom was 5 days old, 2 adults, everything we owned, put it in a truck and drove out here. And it's I don't think we've recovered yet.
And of course, since you're working for a theater company, you were able to afford the top flight moving company.
Of course, yes.
That all the work was done for you. Really, all you had to do was get in the car and drive.
Yeah, that's where the big money is in theater. Everybody knows that. So yeah.
So and then. First thing, getting up here, not only do you have the newborn baby, but you've got a season.
I do have a season.
Produce, too. So you guys are off and running with that. Shipwrecked is your first one. And there's a family connection there, too. Was it your brother you pulled in to help?
We had an actor, an equity actor coming in from New York City. And 5 days before rehearsal started, he called me and said, I have a family emergency. I can't come. So I got on the phone and thought, who can I get? What other really good equity actors do I know that I can get out here for 2 months on a 5-day notice? And the first person I thought of was my brother, who's a great equity actor. He just got off the national tour of Warhorse. So he said, yeah, I can be out there in 5 days and give you 2 months' time. So all of a sudden, it's a family effort now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about Shipwrecked. It sounds very theatrical.
It is very theatrical. So the full title is Shipwrecked, an Entertainment, The Amazing Adventures of Louis de Rougemont, as told by himself. The play is actually shorter than the title.
You have to continue that on the next poster.
Yeah, exactly. It's deliberately hyperbolic, this title, and I think that gives you a little bit of a sense of what the play is like. So it's based on a true story. In 1898, an odd little guy named Louis de Rougemont, published his memoirs in which he claimed to have been shipwrecked on a small desert island off the coast of Australia for 30 years. He claimed to have seen a man-eating octopus and married into a tribe of Aborigines and become a great warrior. And this story was published in installments in a worldwide magazine. And he became an instant phenomenon, this guy. I mean, everybody wanted to see him. He became rich. He met with the Queen. And then something happened, and everybody started to question the veracity of this story.
No!
Yes, and he fell from grace. So the story, the way the play works is that there are 3 people, 3 actors, one who plays Louis, and the other 2 who play all the other roles. And there's about 50 or 60 different roles in this, including a dog, a giant octopus. People are playing different genders, different species. And the playwright, Donald Margulies, wrote this incredible adventure story for the first 2/3 of the play, in which he says things in the script like, there is a monsoon, the ship is pulled into a whirlpool, and yet he doesn't tell you anything about how you're supposed to do that on stage with just 3 actors.
Because once again, you have $1 million special effects budget.
Well, the thing about this play is that it's actually written in response to theaters with $1 million special effects budget. He wrote it specifically to be very low-tech, really fun theater, so it forces you to be ultra inventive,
and the sillier the better.
The sillier the better. Yeah, there is some very serious moments in the play, and there's some very again at the end of the play, the last third of the play, everything you've seen before you start to question, but. Yeah, there's a lot of silliness. There's a lot of people running around changing costumes. There's a lot of really low-tech theatrical invention going on. So how do 3 actors create a giant octopus? How do 3 actors create a monsoon and a shipwreck? How do 3 actors play an entire tribe of Aborigines? So we got very, very creative with that. I think we have some really fun things. So it's this play that works on two levels. So on one level, it's this great adventure story, very silly, very theatrical story that kids will love. And on this whole other level, there's a very complex comedy about the nature of truth and storytelling. And there's this whole historical aspect. So it's a really layered, fun, raucous production of a really good play.
Talking with Sam Osheroff from Riverside Theatre about Shipwrecked, which opens tonight.
It does indeed.
I'm just going to call it Shipwrecked.
Yeah, no,
okay.
we don't have time. It opens tonight. We don't have enough time to say the full title.
We'd be clear in the next hour if we said the full title every time. So, this is, a normal question I ask a director is, what surprised you? What was different? What changed? What was the hardest thing? But it sounds to me like the answer to that question is all of it.
Everything surprised us. We would get through one page and go, oh no, how do we solve this? And we'd finally get it solved after about 2 hours of experimenting. Go, great, we're free and clear. Oh no!
Then you turn the
next page. Yes, and it got more and more. And now, about 2.5 weeks ago, we finally solved all of those problems, and then we were able to really just work the play and work it and get the flow right and the costume changes. People they say a line, they turn around, they come back as a different character within 10 seconds. So, yeah, it's been a challenge all the way through, but I think it's worth it.
What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment? I don't know about my favorite moment. I think it may be when we finally got to the end of the text. We'd solved all the problems. But there's some great characters in it. Joe Osheroff, who plays player number 2, does a great couple of characters. My favorite is a guy named Trevor Dennison, who's an expert on wombats, and he's very incensed that Louis has confused wombats with flying squirrels. And all these zoological experts who show up at the end are all people with the animal characteristics of the animals of which they are experts on. So
nice.
Those are fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it opens tonight and runs until
October 18th. We've got a couple of new things at Riverside too. We have a couple of new Saturday matinees. And we have a special on Thursdays, a $12 student special. So if you show up with a student ID, you get a $12 ticket to see any Thursday night show.
Is that any student, high school, university?
Anyone with a valid student ID.
Faculty member with a student ID?
I think we're sticking to students with student IDs.
All right, that's probably good.
Yeah.
So just give me a little bit of a thumbnail of kind of what your goal is for the rest of the season.
Wow,
I mean, you've got a full season, but the normal, range of plays. I know some new stuff, some classical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the monologue. You're going to do the monologue show later on in the season too. But any surprises that you are trying to cook up as you try and find your feet?
I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. First of all, when you guys walk into our new lobby, you'll be surprised because it looks totally different than it has before.
Oh, remodel the lobby.
Remodel the lobby.
Of moving from Florida and staging this incredibly complex show.
I had some free time on my hands. We decided to do that. So, but it's really beautiful and modern looking now, and great lights in there. So we opened with Shipwrecked tonight. We then follow it with The Glass Menagerie, which is both fragile and brutal Tennessee Williams classic. That's followed by a reprise of Coming of Age in Chore Boots, which was a big hit for us about 2 years ago. And then we do a new play in January called Line of Descent, which I call a very good play about very bad people. It's an acidic farce about terrible people doing horrible things to each other over money. Yeah, think about it's got the tone of Ruthless People, if you remember that.
Okay.
Crossed with maybe, I don't know, who Noel Coward. Yes, it's a bit more urbane than that. And then our annual monologue festival, which has been called Walking the Wire, has been given a fresh coat of paint. It's now called Roar, and it's going to be basically the same idea, but a little more theatrical, a little more out there, I think. And then we close the season with a beautiful romantic comedy called Dancing Lessons, which is about a career dancer, Broadway dancer, who has an injury that has ended her career. She's sitting in her apartment, drinking heavily, being very bitter about things. She gets a knock on the door, and it is her next-door neighbor, who's a geophysicist with Asperger's syndrome, and he wants lessons from her. He wants to learn how to dance because he's going to be given an award. And against all odds, these two have a romantic connection, and it brings up all these great questions about which one of these two is actually the normal one, which one of these people is able to deal with society more adeptly.
Well, as always, I just think that you do a wonderful job of bringing interesting literature for us to see, and sounds like that's going to continue, so I'm thrilled.
Definitely. I should mention a few other things too. We also have a new play.
There's more?
There's more. This is why I haven't slept in a while. But we do have a new play reading series too, which is going to happen 5 more times throughout the year, where we're doing some more challenging work, some more edgy scripts. That is a donation only, so you can come hear a really good play read by professional actors for a small donation if you choose. We also have this coming Sunday, the 27th, Stephen Dietz doing a reading in our space. Stephen Dietz is a very well-known playwright. He is, in fact, the 3rd most produced playwright in America after Tennessee Williams and Edward Albee. So he's a big deal.
Oh.
Yep. He and his wife is also a playwright, so they will both be reading their new works in our space at 7 o'clock on Sunday, the 27th.
Okay. Wow. Wow. No wonder you aren't sleeping.
Yeah. It's been a busy couple of weeks.
Well, good luck with the season, and come back and see us often to talk about these plays individually as they come up. And again, Shipwrecked opens tonight, and while it's possible that people are not used to always bringing their kids to a Riverside Theatre show, this is definitely the exception.
This is definitely the show to bring your kids. We say about 8 and up. They will love this show.
Kids and grandkids will really enjoy Shipwrecked. If people want tickets, how do they get them?
They can call our box office, or they can find us online at riversidetheatre.org, and that's theater with an R-E.
Okay, Sam Osheroff from Riverside Theatre. Thanks so much for coming in, and good luck with your debut performance.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Nice to talk to you.